Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Carlson. I'm the principal of Open Circle Studio and the network coordinator for the Central Appalachian Network, also known as CAN. CAN has been partnering with ReImagine Appalachia to do disaster resilient storytelling to inspire hope, amplify creative stories and solutions, and show the growing momentum around more resilient and prosperous community development. Today, we're talking about Floyd County, Kentucky, which has faced persistent and devastating flooding and economic downturn from a dwindling coal industry. But not only have residents developed innovative responses that support long term economic growth and development as part of their resilience plan, Floyd is also a case study for a uniquely Appalachian approach to resilience. They've been mapping former coal assets for future development to bring construction out of the floodplains and onto higher ground for housing as well. They've also worked towards building a community resilience hub that will provide for impacted residents and to form kind of a cornerstone for information exchange and innovation around uniquely Appalachian resilience strategies. So I'm joined today by Missy Allen. Missy is the Administrative Assistant and Special Projects Director, Mistress of all trades of Floyd County Fiscal Court. Missy is involved in pretty much everything in Floyd County, from disaster resilience to housing and economic development. Missy, thanks for being here and talking with us today. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
So we'll just kick off with a question for you. I would love to hear a little bit more about yourself and your role in Floyd County's recovery and economic development.
Well, thank you so much, Emily. It's great to see you again, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I am, I guess, in my second life. I'm a retired nursing home administrator, and after the March 21 flood, I was approached. I actually approached Judge Williams about helping with that, and I volunteered during that time to help people in our community with coming back from that flood, helping them to get supplies and get the things that they needed. And shortly after that, Judge offered me a job to help with economic development, and everything has kind of grown from there. So I really I grew up here in Floyd County, so these are my people, and I love our community, and I just want to help our people to be more resilient and successful.
I'm glad they looped you in. They knew you can get stuff done. Can you talk a little bit about what the concept of disaster resilience means to you and how it's kind of changed after multiple floods?
Yeah, for me, when I think about being disaster resilient, I want us to be proactive and not reactive. Um, it seems that over the years, and of course, I'm older, so I remember, um, going back to the 77 flood, the 84 flood. I mean, we in this area, uh, our time is defined by years of floods. and, and so what can we do to not just get through it and move on and wait for the next one? What can we do to make ourselves better prepared? If possible, get out of the flood zone
Mhm.
and create an opportunity for our people to be successful and not have to deal with this day in and day out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm curious, obviously flooding is a nationwide issue. It's been hitting Appalachia a lot more recently. Um, are there there's a lot of different solutions to draw inspiration from, but what have you seen that are uniquely Appalachian specific problems and solutions, or maybe just the problems that are harder to solve that are specific to the sort of landscape and setup of Appalachia and especially Floyd
Right.
County?
Yeah. So Appalachia, hills and valleys. We are 396 square miles, a lot of creeks and streams. We have challenges of river floods versus flash flooding. So how, and each one of those creates different issues
Mhm.
and affects different parts of the county. In 2022, that flood was a flash flood that was just devastating. That came out of Knott County and just wiped out Wayland and Garrett and all down that Beaver Creek watershed. In
Mhm.
25, there was heavy rain, but in 22 it didn't affect the Leviathan Fork of the Big Sandy, which kind of flows parallel to US 23. So if you've ever been in Eastern Kentucky and traveled on US 23,
Mhm.
the Leviathan Fork. And so that water coming out of Pike County, coming here, and we knew it was coming, gave us a little bit of time, but it hit every community down the way from Pikeville. So areas that we hadn't discussed in previous years with recent flooding were now affected at Harold, at Betsy Lane, at Tram, at Allen. So, dealing with those different areas and how they're affected differently by the different waterways makes it really, really difficult. Coal mining was here for many, it was the backbone of our economy for many years. And I very, very personally feel like that we've not done a good job. And a lot of it is federal, it's based on,
Mhm.
what the Corps of Engineers and Division of Waterways and all this stuff can deal with. But we've not been allowed to clean out these creeks and streams and the rivers. And so because there's been coal mining, because of also logging that we don't talk a lot about, but all of those things affect our waterways. And if it's just, it just creates issues and creates more flooding concerns. So those are really our biggest challenges is what do we do to try to clean out the waterway some so that the water can flow.
Mhm.
We're seeing problems on US 23 when you come down the Leviathan Fork. People who had lived near the river for years because of it filling in and just the force of the water coming through there. There are homes that the creek bank, they were at one time 30 or 40 feet from the river. Now the river is literally, I have one gentleman had to move out of his home. It's no longer safe. That house is going to go into the river
Yeah.
unless we get it demoed. So those are the challenges that we are facing.
Yeah, it's a very complex landscape. Rivers don't stay static, and you have legacy coal issues and land access issues that make it hard to sort of remediate the problem. Can you talk a little bit about the three big projects that we've been working on with the Resilience Hub, the mitigation
Yeah.
plan, and the resilience? Oh wait, the flood mapping, the housing plan, the Resilience Hub, and I
Yeah,
guess
sure.
why they're important to the community, why those three, and then yeah, so we'll start
Absolutely.
there, and then I have some other questions about those.
Okay. So let's just kind of take them one by one. Housing, which is near and dear to my heart. We've talked about flooding. Um, we already had a problem with housing. We already had a shortfall. So the 22 flood just exacerbated the problem. Well, here we go, 25. It's exacerbating the problem because a lot of these people are signing up to be in the FEMA buyout where FEMA will buy their home. It will actually flow through the Floyd County Fiscal Court. That will become green space that can no longer have anything done on it. So getting those people out of the floodway is important, but it also creates another issue because we already had a housing shortage. We had about 125 in the 22 buyout. We've got over 350 in the 2025
Wow.
buyout. They have signed up to be in this buyout. Another layer that makes it even more complicated in Floyd County is the Corps of Engineers has been working on a project in the community of Martin. They have actually been moving the town. They've been working on this for 30 years.
Holy cow.
And Oh yeah, it's great. So we are you're getting near the end of that project finally. And but the Corps has bought out many properties in and around Martin. They've also bought out businesses in and around Martin to, to try to help them be more resilient and get them out of the flood zone. So all of this has created a huge housing shortage for our county. We want our people to stay here. They want to stay here. So housing is critically important. We have received a CDBG DR grant, working with the Department of Local Government and the governor's office, and are actually working on a housing project here near Prestonsburg called New Hope Estates. We're actually doing a ribbon cutting next Thursday on the first two. Yes, that folks are ready to move into. But that's, that there's room for about 40 homes over there. So we're working with Frontier Housing to get those homes built, get people approved that are flood survivors, to get them in those homes. So that's 40 some homes. Then ASP, Appalachian Service Project, has built some homes up in the Wayland area. They've built about 17 or 18. So that has helped them. But we still have a huge shortfall. So we know that we're getting federal or state funding to help us with this CDBG. But the important thing about this housing is, how do we get private investors involved? We want people to, want to come to Floyd County and to build homes so we can help our people stay here. So that's the housing. When we look at the flood mapping, that has been, I think that is critically important. We feel like we know where the flooding occurred, but we want to get people's input. And it's so important because last week at one of our meetings, a lady told us about a drain area near her home that we didn't know anything about, that was causing issues that she could possibly flood. So knowing those types of things, knowing the roads that water blocks, knowing all those things is very important to help us build, to be able to, again, work toward the third thing, which for me is also near and dear to my heart, which is Community Resilience Hub. And being able to have a central location in our community that people can come to if they are in threat of being flooded. And to me, I guess it's my nursing home life coming back to me, but I always tell everybody, it's not just flooding. Yes, flooding is we know that's our number one issue, but we want to look at for me, when I look at emergency management, what are my top 3 issues that we have in Floyd County? We know flooding's number one. We also know that we have issues with straight line winds. We don't have tornadic activity, but we do have a lot of damaging wind storms. And then ice storms are also another. So those are the top 3 that I can think of. We would want to utilize this Community Resilience Hub to be able to help our folks in a time of disaster.
That's great. Yeah, that was my first question about the hub. But then I'm also curious I guess there has been talk about the former coal sites for development. Do you know what the vision is for those? Is there collaboration?
Yeah. So we're, we definitely want to try to utilize. We have one area actually we're working at right now that is near US 23. It has a rail site on it that would be a rail load site that is probably the only one in the tri-state. And so we are really looking at that and trying to work on the economic development side of getting a business in there to utilize that. That is probably our priority right now with that coal site. We're looking at others. The challenge that we get into, people say, well, you can put a whole town on top of one of these strip jobs, and you can, but you've got to have the infrastructure, and you've got to have the money to get the infrastructure up there. Right. So that's, but these that are down lower that we've already got the infrastructure there, we want to start there and get something moving with those.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And what you've been learning during this project and the BREC and the group leading up to this, what advice do you have that you would give to other communities trying to replicate these programs and work on their disaster resilience?
I think
Y'all
get
seem so
people
organized.
involved.
Get people to
I'm
talk.
sorry. Get people involved. We have been fortunate to have a lot of different groups from Mountain Association. We've got, of course, Ruthie Caldwell has been a blessing to with
Mhm.
Vision Granted, and always looking for grant opportunities, and trying to find ways to help us move forward. My thing is, don't give up, keep pressing forward, because it's real easy sometimes to get discouraged. But because I guess for me, I come from the private sector, and my challenge has always been, well, I know what the problem is, just give us the money and let us fix it. But it doesn't always work that way. So understanding that, you know, you have to do, it's just like the mapping. This is important. We've got to have this mapping, because this is data that we can use for, to apply for funding, to
Right.
apply for grants, to be able to build, to be able to do what we need to do. So I think it's important for folks to don't give up, keep on keeping on, and understand that you've got to lay groundwork to
Mhm.
move forward, and just keep moving forward. Sometimes you feel like you're taking 5 steps forward and 6 back, but you keep on trying to push forward.
Yeah. And yeah, you all have so much groundwork and so much sort of community buy-in, which is so
Yeah,
helpful. It makes future funding possible. And so I
exactly.
guess, you've mentioned a few different ways of some of these different projects impacting economic development and job creation. But and how else are you looking at these projects as sort of playing into the larger economy of Floyd County?
There's a lot going on at the same time. And
Yeah.
I say that to say we've got Mountain Parkway expansion. That's going to be a game changer for Floyd
Yeah,
County.
that's huge.
Because we're going to have 4 lane from here to Lexington. So from here to I-64, we can go down the 4 lane 23. So we are more connected now than we ever have been. So that, I believe, will make a huge impact on bringing business to us. Um, we understand that we've got to have the housing. We've got to have the job opportunities. Thunder Ridge is one area that we've not talked about much, but it is an economic development site that we are working with the governor's office on helping us get a business in there. They are very excited about that site, and so bringing jobs here, encouraging people to stay, having a home for them to live in is huge. So it all ties together. And I say it's like plates on sticks. Uh,
Gotta keep
I
them
don't know.
spinning.
Yeah, I go back to my childhood, watching the circus and watching the guy keeping all
I
the
was
plates
gonna
on
say, I
sticks.
bet you can spin plates on sticks.
So you got, and invariably every now and then a plate will fall off that stick, but you got to put it back on and keep going.
Yep.
So
They get some plastic
so yeah,
plates.
it all works together, and I do feel that it's important, though, for with the highway coming through, and we keep on encouraging our people. We keep on working. The judge is working diligently and so hard to try to get business in here, and work with different groups. And if we can get housing, I'm excited about the housing. If
Mhm.
we can get private developers in here on the housing, I think that'll be crucial.
And then, yeah, just a sort of question about attracting investment. I know that, you all have shown so much resourcefulness and kind of overcoming and addressing all these things and building new opportunities. Do you know, like, what's the narrative? Is there anything you all would say if there was to counter any concerns about natural disaster caused instability? I've heard it's a wonderful place to be and live. So, but yeah, it's like, what would you say to that if someone was concerned about moving to the area because of the flooding?
I think that when you come here, we have land and opportunity that is not in the floodplain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, when I think of people, when I think of businesses, I just wish people could see Thunder Ridge. It's 40 acres out of the floodplain, ready to go. So there's opportunity. Um, and then again with the Parkway expansion, to me it's a win-win. It's interesting. We have a lot of people that are moving to our area and they're buying homes. This always amazes me. We have people that are buying homes sight unseen because they look at what our tax base is, that it's a cheaper, more affordable place to live.
Right.
And then a lot of outdoor activity that folks can do and they enjoy. And we have pretty good internet and pretty good way for folks to connect. And so a lot of people move here and work remotely.
Mm-hmm.
So we are seeing that,
Yep.
which causes, again,
Different
I keep
issues.
coming back to housing.
Yep. Need housing.
We need housing.
And then one last question before we wrap up. More broadly speaking, do you have any recommendations on narrative approaches or approaches in general for other communities in Appalachia that are looking to bring in investment and partner with investors to bring them in? And I know the housing study is looking at that, but I mean, you're talking about some other sort of economic development, but what are the approaches to really attracting investment in the community?
Yeah, yeah. I think you've got to be ready to tell your story.
Yeah.
Be ready to tell your story. Yeah, we have had a ton of challenges since Judge Williams has come in. I think he's been through 5 or 6 floods and COVID, so it's been special. So, but through all of that, the county has never had to borrow money. He is constantly looking for ways to move our county forward. So we just got to be ready to tell our story. Uh, and keep moving forward and keep looking for opportunities. The opportunities are out there. We just have to find them. And I think the first thing though is you got to determine what your needs are. Is it housing? Is it economic development, growth? Do we need to get additional training for people in our community so that when jobs do come in, that we've got a workforce for them? We always pride ourselves on our coal miners because they are so awesome and so smart and can do about anything. So, but do some additional training with them on specific things. So knowing what your needs are and then tell your story.
Yeah. And you all have been such a great light and example for other communities so far. So thank you so much, Missy. It's always good to learn from you. And thanks everyone for joining us. Be sure to check out CAN's new resource hub at cannetwork.org. There's a lot on there that we've all been collecting. And so on the hub, on that CARE resource hub, you'll find Appalachia specific disaster resilience resources. And in there, you'll be able to learn about kind of upcoming events. But for now, I just want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. All right. Thanks, Missy.